Britain's divorce from the European Union finally looks like it'll become a reality. Today, British lawmakers approved Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Brexit legislation in principle.
The ayes to the right were 358. The noes to the left were 234. So the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
The House gave preliminary approval of the bill, which is required to ratify the exit deal with Brussels. It has been more than 3 years since the UK voted to leave the EU. But as Redmond Shannon explains, it looks like Brexit will finally happen next month.
Minister to move second reading, or Prime Minister to move second reading.
A vote to define the course of a nation, one that was first scheduled a full year ago.
This vision of the United Kingdom's independence, a vision that inspires so many, is now, if this Parliament, this new Parliament allows, only hours from our grasp. The oven is on, so to speak. It is set at gas mask 4. We can have it done by lunchtime.
3 times this year, MPs left former Prime Minister Theresa May starved for votes, repeatedly rejecting her Brexit deal.
The ayes to the right, 202. The noes to the left, 432. So the noes have it, the noes have it, the noes have it. Unlock!
When Boris Johnson took over in July, he renegotiated with the EU, in effect, a small tweak. It was enough to pass the deal in principle, but MPs rejected the bill's timetable. It led to the Brexit election and a thumping Conservative majority that yielded today's result.
So the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Dozens of opposition MPs abstained, some even voted for the deal. It means Brexit is finally likely. First, though, possible amendments need to be debated in early January. It will then go to the House of Lords, and on January 29th, the European Parliament will vote on the deal. If all goes as expected, the UK will leave the EU on January 31st.
Our aim is to provide a close friendship.
There will be a lot to do afterwards, with a tight window for Johnson to strike an EU free trade agreement. He was vague on detail, but as ever, high on hyperbole.
Of an ambitious, broad, deep and flexible partnership, rooted in our shared history and ideals, and standing together against threats to rights and values from without or within.
This certainly is a big pre-Christmas gift for Boris Johnson. But if the UK now leaves the EU at the end of January, then new headaches begin. The UK will have less than 11 months to hammer out a free trade agreement with the European Union. Remember, Canada's free trade deal with the EU took 7 years to hammer out, Robin.
What will happen if Johnson doesn't strike a trade deal by then?
Well then, Robin, the so-called no-deal scenario comes back into play. At the end of next December, you could see trade tariffs applied overnight to UK exporters. The difference this time is that a no-deal wouldn't affect the Irish border. Instead, in Boris Johnson's deal is a very controversial provision for customs checks within the UK between the island of Britain and Northern Ireland. Robin?
Redmond Shannon in London.